Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week.
And welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Business Story of the Week. I am your host, Joshua, and today we have ourselves quite the guest, a beautiful, lovely guest, but not just, because of her looks today. We have invited her also for her expertise, for her knowledge. She's a leader in the industry, and she has garnered quite the accolade, quite the career herself. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Vanessa Lapiner. She is an integrative dermatologist, scientist, and leader in the field of dermocosmetics. She was the 2022 Beauty Game Changer Glamour Woman of the Year and is the founder of Root 4, a brand marrying science-forward skincare plus nutraceuticals. Dr. Vanessa's dedication to dermatology extends, beyond clinical practice and education. She also does outreach. She showcases her commitment to community health and skin cancer prevention through the Cancer Sun Smart Screening Initiative, right? And Dr. Vanessa's experience also in dermatological surgery. Sorry about that. Dermatological surgery. I swear. Mole mapping, with a focus on providing comprehensive, compassionate care to her patients. She has a holistic approach to skin health, but also not just because of the care they provide. It encompasses treating skin conditions, but empowering patients with knowledge, prevention strategies, and personalized treatment plans. Dr. Vanessa, you are looking lovely today. Thank you for joining on the show. How are you?
Good, and I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's fantastic. It's great. I'm really excited to get into this. Um, I I'm I want to learn more about skincare, basically. But more than that, we need to get deeper into this, Dr. Vanessa. And before we really get deeper into this, I'd like to start from the very beginning. I always start from the very beginning on these shows and these episodes. And I ask, it's like, what is the story of Dr. Vanessa Lapiner? What happened perhaps during your childhood and any pivotal moments of experience in your life where you decided, this is it. I'm going to be a skincare provider. I'm going to be a scientist. What I do will be backed by research. Perhaps when you were younger, you realized, wow, I want to take care of my skin, right? But anything that happened throughout your life where you decided, this is the path I'm going to take. What is the story of Dr. Vanessa Lapiner?
So I guess my story is not that different, like from a childhood perspective. I mean, I look at my kind of tween daughter, and she's kind of as obsessed with skincare as I was as a
Oh,
child. So I
wow.
don't know whether that's just a growing up kind of teen girl thing, though I think it's
Oh,
certainly
wow.
more prominent in this kind of generation alpha than it was when I was younger. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, skincare is always just been a complete fascination for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the pivotal point was more when I was a med student. And I actually always thought I was going to go down the line of like pediatrics, genetics. That was like my interest at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And I
Mm-hmm.
attended one of the dermatology meetings,
Right.
and they were speaking a language that felt like a foreign language. It was nothing I'd really been exposed to. And I was hooked, like from that moment on, absolutely obsessed with dermatology, completely enthralled with the idea that you can look at someone's skin and learn so much about their whole systemic health. And in fact, we prided ourselves that they used to ask every specialty in the hospital to come and do a consult on like a mystery patient where they couldn't get to the bottom of a diagnosis. And in would
Mm-hmm.
come the derm team. And just by looking at the skin, we could solve that kind of clinical challenge. And uh, I still have not lost that complete love and
Wow.
passion, and it's a love affair. It really is. Um, I didn't really consider anything else. It's so difficult. I don't know what it's like in the States, but here it's like winning the lottery if you get a derm registrar
Mm-hmm.
post to study
Mm-hmm. Wow.
dermatology. And I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. There was
Oh
nothing
my
else I
goodness.
wanted to do. And I
Oh
kind of
wow.
just stuck it out and did everything in my power to get into that department.
Oh, what a story, Dr. Vanessa. That's lovely. And first of all, I love how you said it's a love affair. It's truly like like a fate, a destined fate,
Mm.
a meeting of chance, and a meeting of what you truly love. And seeing that this is what you truly love, you went all in and you did everything you could to pursue it. And to let our audience and listeners know, 8 years of medical school, 2 years of pigment cell biology, Master of Science in Medicine in Cell Biology, graduated as summa cum laude as a fellow of the College of Dermatology in South Africa, where you
Mhm.
received the Peter Gordon Smith Award for Clinical Excellence. This is your whole life, Dr. Vanessa, and you are
It is.
showing truly
I guess
how
then when
it's
you it well, I
yes.
think when it is so fascinating to you,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's just it's easy to excel. I guess that's the bottom line.
I love that you said if it's fascinating, it's easy to excel, and not many are blessed with that kind of career path, aren't they? But it's not also so easy, right? It's not always. There's always going to be a challenge because just because you love it doesn't mean it's going to come easily to you. You still have to work for it. So Dr. Vanessa, talk to us a little bit about the path that you have now taken. Because after graduating from prestigious colleges, earning all these educational accolades, you've gone on to found companies on your, as the founder of your dermatological ventures, one being Root 4 and Tash 360. You've created platforms that practice and integrate cutting edge dermatological treatments with a focus on overall wellness. Could you talk to us a bit about the journey in establishing and founding these companies and talk to us about Root 4 and Tash 360?
So Tash 360 is what came first, and Root 4 is
Mm-hmm.
what I call the accidental brand. So I'll start with
Oh,
kind of Tash 360, which
please.
is
Okay.
is my it's South Africa's first integrative dermatology center, and I'm really
Oh,
proud of
wow.
that. In fact, I don't think that there
Wow.
are many of these internationally where
Wow.
we practice dermatology in very much in tune with functional medicine principles.
Right.
And I can't even take the credit for that because I
Mm-hmm.
have an interest in going down to the root causes of inflammatory skin dermatoses.
Okay.
And I really believe that what we've been doing in the past has been the tip of the iceberg in terms of almost like masking symptoms and
Mm-hmm.
just treating things topically without really understanding the lifestyle or the auto-inflammatory kind of
Mm-hmm.
cascades that are
Mm-hmm.
resulting in what for me is just a red flag on the skin that
Right.
there's an
Right.
imbalance on the gut skin brain axis, which is my
Mm-hmm.
particular interest. And because of that, and because I know like my limitations in terms of what I've studied and where my gaps of knowledge are, we built a team where we started managing patients together and started learning together. And
Right.
slowly our team grew and we had practice meetings once a week where we used to learn from each other and teach each other and read together and understand how we're treating patients, what's been successful, what hasn't been successful,
Right.
and so we started developing protocols and very successful protocols. And so that was Tash 360. And like we kind of grew into this beautiful team of dermatologists, functional medicine doctors, aesthetic practitioners,
Right.
integrative
Right.
nutritionists, and laser therapists, estheticians. So we
Oh,
wanted
wow.
to have like a one-stop place where a patient could come and get
Yes.
all their skin health needs dealt
Yes.
with in a very
Mm-hmm.
holistic way.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is we have, I'd say, the busiest dermatology practice in the country with waiting lists over a year. Patients currently, if
Okay.
you call to book, you'll be told the next appointment is in April 2025, which sounds
Okay.
great, but is actually a challenge in itself that we are
There you go.
addressing in a number of ways.
Hmm.
But um, then what we started to do is explore different ways and question all the kind of guidelines of how we approached healthy skin, whether
Yes.
it was someone just wanting to optimize his skin health, um,
Hmm.
out of like more of our aesthetic patients, or whether it
Yes.
was someone that had acne, pigmentation,
Right.
rosacea.
Right.
And our patients kind of went along this journey with us, and
Hmm.
we started developing both skincare and nutraceuticals that would treat them, and they started telling their friends about it, and their friends wanted access to it, and that kind of what ignited the birth of Root 4, which is why I say it was very much an accidental brand. I never set out to create a skincare brand. Like
Right.
kind of dermatology and science is my passion. Like I'm the happiest when I'm in a research lab, like formulating with
Hmm.
new
Hmm.
ingredients. That's
Oh wow.
I love that. I'm happiest when I'm with my patients.
Hmm.
So creating like like a consumer brand, just it's not
Yes.
my persona at all.
Right.
But
Right.
we just saw such incredible results that
Hmm.
that we wanted to share that with a wider audience.
And it also feels like a natural progression, right? You express this such love and enthusiasm for your as a scientist. Basically, you are a skincare scientist. It's beautiful, and you express that love affair to it. Like
Mm.
it gives you fulfillment. It gives you all these things that that you've pursued in life, and it gives you validation. But it feels like also a natural progression that okay, I have reached perhaps the top of my industry. I am very good at what I do, but consumer products perhaps is something that now you can naturally go into because you are then putting in all your knowledge into a particular product because it helps people, it helps friends and families, and you've gotten massive results out of it. Was there any particular moment in time where you felt like quitting? Because it couldn't have been all butterflies and right rainbows and butterflies. Couldn't have been walking apart. But tell us challenges and obstacles and what helped you overcome them.
So, I mean, there have been many.
Hmm.
Obviously, managing people is also not something that has come naturally to me.
Right, of course.
And I respect everyone in my team. And it was a
Hmm.
challenge to get everyone to work together as a team and to create the culture where everyone um, felt that they were following their own instincts in terms of how they were treating patients and developing things within the practice
Yes,
without stepping on anyone's toes. So that was a challenge in itself,
yes,
because I felt in the beginning I didn't prioritize enough time to building that team feeling and that team spirit, because I think that if
yes,
you do spend time, people work better together and end result is
yes.
going to be better.
Hmm.
And then from Route 4, it has been just one lesson after the next.
Of
That
course,
was
of course.
really, I mean, it has been what a journey. And I think that had I known in the beginning how hard
Hmm.
it would be and how many kind of setbacks there would be.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it started like my research initially was in pigment cell research, which is a
Hmm.
huge problem here in South Africa. Excess
Right.
pigmentation is an
Hmm.
enormous problem, and it's something I'm particularly interested in. And one of the
Hmm.
first things we discovered in practice, way before Route 4 was even like a spark, was
Right.
this unique combination of four ingredients that we've now
Hmm.
actually put together as what we call the Glow for Green technology. And at
Right.
that time, I mean, we were really just playing around, and there was a lady who was helping me like put it together in terms of the concentrations that it was going to. We could apply it to the skin, almost like a mask at that time that we're using it
Hmm.
in practice without staining the skin, but giving the kind of the
Hmm.
clinical efficacy. And she was trialing it on the back of her hands, and she had all these little solar lentigos, like those little brown kind of granny spots, age spots on the hand. And
Right.
the one day she came in and she was like, they're gone. And that for me was this like really like aha moment, like that we
Right.
could take something. um my practice logo is guided by research and enhanced by intuition, and I think that that's
Mm-hmm.
so much of what we developed is going from that, taking science
Yes.
and
Yes.
then clinically validating it with
Yes.
trials. I feel
Mm-hmm.
very strongly that products that are not gone through clinical trials, like I have a deep
Mm-hmm.
skepticism and suspicion of that. And and that, like, it's those moments that no matter what is hard and a
Mm-hmm.
challenge, that you just
Mm-hmm.
think like you've really discovered something that you are going to add value to the medical community at large, not only to the patients that you're helping,
There
but
you
you've
go.
you've discovered something innovative.
There you
And
go.
no matter kind of what challenge you kind of meet, because at that point we were giving it to patients in like normal packaging, and then we realized we're
Mm-hmm.
so sensitive to air and oxygen, and then we had to, it was such a thing to try find the right packaging
Yes.
to protect this very special formulation, and then to
Of
work out
course.
how to formulate it with other ingredients. So it was
Yes.
exciting and difficult and challenging, and this complete mad roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
but wonderful, or at the same time.
Especially because, again, it is something that you truly love. It's a
Mm-hmm.
continued love affair for you. And I'd like to highlight once again for our audience and listeners that your practice philosophy, quote, is guided by research, enhanced by intuition. It is beautiful, and it is truly encompassing what you do with, with your ventures with Tash 360. um, how do you balance the advancements? Like, how do you balance science? But you did kind of answer this already, because you're also giving back to the medical community, not just a holistic care with the patients, but with your advancements, your research. You're actually putting it out there that, okay, we are guided by research, we are guided by science, but this intuition inside of us is actually telling us to help people, to help more out there, and to advance these kind of, you said the tip of the iceberg. I can't believe that you just said that, by the way, that you are still at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to cosmetic skincare, skincare in general. I can't believe it. I feel like we've advanced so much in that kind of field, especially today. Um, talk to us a little bit about that. Talk to us about the advancement in medical science, and why do you think it's still at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to personal care, and how do you balance that with attention you provide to each patient? And try to add a little bit about your you have another company. I'm trying to remember. You have, don't remind me, I know this. You have the Atlantic Dermatology and Laser,
Well,
right? And
yes,
these are just one
exactly.
of your many companies that you've founded. And talk to us about a bit about that. Again, um, you giving back with your intuition and the advancements of skincare, cosmetics, why it's still tip of the iceberg, and where does Atlantic Laser come into this?
So, as I say, any results that you see with the patient is going to come from, I've got, like, I talk about like a pyramid. It's I teach kind of medical colleagues, and I teach estheticians, and
Right.
the two things that I focus on with them is that whenever you are dealing with a patient, every single patient, you've got to think to yourself, what can you do? How can you approach this problem from the outside in terms of what
Yes.
topicals you're going to give them? How are you going to
Yes.
approach this problem from the inside? How can
Mm-hmm.
you treat them with either nutraceuticals or with systemic medication? And then the
Mm-hmm.
third point of that kind of triangle is, what is the patient doing? The lifestyle factors. The patient also has to
Right.
play their part. And that
Mm-hmm.
that for me is the very exciting thing, as people are understanding so much more in terms of what sleep is doing in terms of our overall wellness,
Mm-hmm.
what our immune system is doing in terms of our overall wellness,
Mm-hmm.
insulin control, gut
Mm-hmm.
health. I think that these are the new frontiers of medicine that is
Wow.
so exciting. I mean, I remember when I was looking at specialists,
Wow.
and I had a friend who was looking into gastroenterology, and I was like, why would you want to go?
Why?
Like, that is the worst like the worst speciality, like the most boring, dry speciality I could ever think of. Like I feel so sad for you. And now, like he's laughing at me because like gastroenterology is like at the forefront of where medicine
Oh
is
my
heading in
goodness.
terms,
Oh my
in terms
goodness.
of the microbiome and microbiome health.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that plays so much into integrative dermatology and so much into the dermocosmetic world
Mm-hmm.
in terms of understanding that we are this ecosystem, and whatever we are doing is going to have to really nurture and nourish the health of our microbiome, this like alternate kind of universe of like bacteria and
Yes.
viruses and fungi
Yes.
that have to
Yes.
coexist with us. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that is really one aspect of where both dermatology and medicine in general is heading. And the
Wow.
other aspect is this whole realm of immunology
Mm-hmm.
and learning how we can send such specific messages to various
Yes.
parts of the body and such specific blocks to certain cytokines, like in
Wow.
certain pathways, and impact
Right.
things
Right.
so strategically.
Oh
Um,
my.
and that for me is exciting. I mean, Root 4 and Tash 360, like for me it's really simple. I'm practical, I'm strategic, I'm trying to streamline things for my patients. I'm trying to make things as easy for my other practitioners to follow the protocols that I've developed. I'm making it as easy as possible for my patients to follow those protocols, because
Mm-hmm.
then if you've got consistency, you're going to get the results. And so we keep on playing around. At any point I've always got like kind of a number of products that are in various stages of development, whether it's formulation or trials or researching it. And I think that's how you keep on top of it, is you just stay up to date with kind of best science, but don't remain boxed in by what everyone else is
Right.
looking at, because
Of
otherwise you're
course.
never going to find anything innovative. And I'm sitting with
Mm-hmm.
this enormous pool of patients who trust me and who are happy to use trial and error to find something that's going to work better.
Wow. And that is, wow. If that doesn't speak to your mission and to your philosophy, research new frontiers, and putting that forward and having this kind of blessing where you have patients that trust you, guided by your intuition into, okay, we're going to work on this together. We're going to go through trial and errors of these together. I'm no expert, Dr. Vanessa, but I have heard of gut microbiome as a new frontier, where it affects everything, our mood, how we think, everything basically in our relationship. It may as well be the biggest factor when it comes to our overall health. But of course, it also makes sense that it affects our skin. That just never occurred to me. And
Mhm.
you're talking about these advancements and all the other things that you mentioned. I have never heard of any of this, and this is just, you're putting into perspective, not just for me but for our audience of listeners, how much more that we can push this forward. And I am glad that there are passionate people like you on this field. We talked to this a little bit about this. Talk to us a little bit about Atlantic Dermatology and Laser. How did this come into being founded along with Tash 360? And how do you manage all of this? This is a lot. Goodness, Dr. Vanessa, tell us
Well,
about that.
I've got an amazing team. So Atlantic
Hmm.
Dermatology and Laser is really just part of our practice, but it's more
Right.
focused on the aesthetic skin health rather than kind of medical dermatology and surgical dermatology, which is kind of the other aspect of how we treat our patients. And we've
Yes.
obviously got all kind of the latest technologies and laser equipment, and again, leading aesthetic procedures that we do and that we constantly trying to improve. We've managed, for example, you've got platelet rich plasma, which is the vampire facial. You might have heard of that. I think Kim Kardashian made it really, really famous.
Right.
It's quite
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, it's like
Yes.
you
Okay.
look like a vampire. You draw blood and you spin
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
down and
Hmm.
you extract the platelets and the
Okay.
growth factors, and then you inject it back into the face. And like
Okay.
one of the things that we've managed to
Wow.
do through Atlantic Dermatology and Laser is we managed to
Right.
stabilize those platelets and the growth factors into a serum. We call it the PRP Plus serum. And
Wow.
now patients can go home following procedures and continue to apply that serum for at least a month post procedure, because one of kind of the pillars of what we want to do is optimize what we can do in practice,
Of
and
course.
that patients are going to get even better results at home. And so that was really exciting. We've kind of innovated in terms of the microneedling space in designing really
Oh,
innovative microneedling serums that we can needle
wow.
into patients' skin. We've
Wow.
really innovated in terms of how we do Botox facials.
Oh,
So
wow.
lots of really fun and I mean, aesthetics for me is just fun.
Of course. Of
And
course.
it really appeals to kind of like the more creative and artistic side, and patients are so grateful when
Wow.
you've improved their confidence, so when they can look in the mirror and really be happy and improve their self-esteem. So I don't minimize how important it is when people are happy with the way that they look. And yeah, we've got a fantastic team of estheticians and laser specialists,
Beautiful.
and aesthetic doctors, and we work together on the aesthetic side on all those protocols.
Beautiful. And of course, not taking for granted that these patients trust you and they are, you're improving their overall well being just because, you make them feel, beautiful about themselves. And Dr. Vanessa, you talk about like, when you talk about, uh, aesthetic science, cosmetic science, the enthusiasm and the love is just flowing out of you. It's just unlimited fountain out of that. And it's contagious. And I not only speak for myself, but audience and listeners as well, that kind of inspiration and enthusiasm is really what is motivating the type of motivation that we look for in this show. Dr. Vanessa, one of the quotes that you have put on your website, one of your bios, you mentioned, "For in truth, great love is born of great knowledge of the thing loved," by Leonardo da Vinci. And if that does not encompass your entire career, your entire life, your entire mission, it's beautiful what you are doing. And it's beautiful how you tell it. I think it's much more enriching to everyone that hears it. Dr. Vanessa, I kind of want to start wrapping this up in such a way that where do you see yourself in the future? Where do you see your aspirations towards, when it comes to skincare, towards the innovations? You are constantly innovating. And how do you see yourself, or Tash 360, your team, how do you see yourself impacting the future of dermatology? And how long do you think you're going to keep doing this?
Well, as long as I can breathe, I will keep on
I
doing that.
bet.
I mean,
Yes, I
I
knew that was your
my,
answer.
my husband teases me that he could wake me up at 2 a.m. in the morning and ask me to tell him like the top three benefits of a retinoid, and I'll be like, right, where do we start? because
Oh, that's
because
so
I do.
funny.
I just find it so exciting. And I think that I'm going to continue to be guided by the needs of my patients.
Mhm.
Everything and what I formulated so far has been driven by their frustrations with certain existing
Right,
treatments, by
right.
their like want for a a better like a better solution. For example,
Hmm.
root 4 being within the medical grade kind of dermocosmetic space, but it's also a clean beauty product. And I never
Yes,
emphasize that, and I hate emphasizing that, because I never want it to be thought of it as a clean beauty brand. It's an efficacious brand, and it's a science driven
right,
and results driven brand. But it
right.
happens to be clean because that was one of the things that my patients were requesting. So I think
Wow, of
as
course.
long as there are challenges to solve, as long as there are so many exciting things on the horizon. I mean, really, sky is the limit in terms
Hmm.
of where you can go to help people. And I think that I'll continue to be inspired by all the people and colleagues around me and how generous they are in helping us grow together. Um, so I don't see an end. I just see continued growth, and
Beautiful.
also like a humbleness in that what I tell you today may be completely incorrect tomorrow, because that is how fast medicine is
That's
moving.
true.
So take my
That's true.
advice today, but take it with a pinch of salt, because I may be completely disproved tomorrow. And so we got to continue to adapt and grow, and learn from the new science that is coming out. And that is
Yes.
why my focus is so hugely on research and clinical studies, and why all my
Hmm.
products have gone through like really rigorous third party testing,
Hmm. Hmm.
because otherwise you're really selling marketing,
Yes.
and that's not what people need.
And Dr. Vanessa, of course. And if there was any other innovations that come forth, even if you were wrong today, and something else new comes along the way, it is certain, yet you will still be there. You will still be there at that new frontier, pushing the envelope and pushing the industry forward. Not just, you know, beautifully science based, innovations, but with heart, with love, with compassion, with intuition. Dr. Vanessa, I'd like to give you this opportunity. Where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? Where can we keep up with this passion of yours? And, take in that the same enthusiasm and get contained, get infected with that enthusiasm of yours. Where can we find you? Where can we stay updated with you?
So you can always, probably Instagram is the place that you can see me in my most kind of natural habitat. Although sometimes patients come to me and they'll say, "Oh, you're not at all as crazy as you seem over social media," and that's just because I'm trying to make education a little bit more interesting.
Of
But
course.
I've got two Instagram profiles, and I try to do a lot of education and empowerment through that. The
Hmm.
one is at tash.360, and the other
Okay.
one is at root4.skin. And you can reach out over either of those social media platforms, or you can email me on hello@root4.skin or Vanessa at tash360.com. And as I say, I love hearing from people. I love hearing what people think is missing or lacking, or where we need to put our emphasis and focus.
Of course, that is lovely, and I invite all our audience and listeners to check that out. I will be one of the witness and say that Dr. Vanessa's personality may not be as crazy as her Instagram personality, but I will say that the passion is still there, the energy is still there, the enthusiasm, and most of all, it's very genuine enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great episode. Dr. Vanessa, thank you for joining us here on this
Thank
episode.
you. Thank you so
You
much.
you you are easily, and this is, I'm not just saying this, I say this in pure honesty, you are easily one of the most passionate people I have met in any field, and I am just
Thank
glad
you.
to have you on here. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you
Vanessa.
so much. It's been a pleasure.
And to all our audience and listeners out there, see you on the next one.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.